My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And the Ho is back! He's back, leaving Ho. He's returned from the military. Return of the Ho. But before we, and we want to actually talk about him and his, what's the word I'm looking, contribution to being the, sort of the St. Peter, opening the gates of K-drama heaven for many people in the West. But before we do that, I would like us all to pour one out for our homies over in Future Atlantis 1, if you follow the Twitch stream. Future Atlantis 1.0 is dead. Long live Future Atlantis 1.0. But we've moved on to Future Atlantis 2.0, and the little mole people are very alive still.
They are.
In case you don't understand what she's talking about, they're playing a game.
Yes, we Twitch, by we I mean I Twitch stream like every other night a video game called Oxygen Not Included, where I try to keep little mole people alive, and I'm hilariously bad at it. And
that's okay.
Jessie and I were very invested in
those little mole people.
The little people, and
they just grab your heart and
And now you have to come up with a whole bunch of new mole pun names.
Well,
or are you just reusing the same ones?
We're pulling an until we meet again situation.
Yeah,
whereupon
there's a lot of reincarnation.
Yeah, we have come up with a few new pun names. We've added Beyonce moles to the crew, and who was the other one that we added? Fred, but Fred's just Fred. But there was another mole pun that we did. Yeah, there was another mole pun that we did. Oh, Hans Mole Man. Hans Mole Man has joined us. That's right. My husband named him Hans Mole Man. But otherwise, we're now starting to bring back the characters that the three of us, including Beth, knew and loved. So if you really want some,
learning from our mistakes.
Yeah,
we know now what to do.
We know that we have to produce oxygen so that they can breathe, which is basically the whole premise of the game.
Well, also we shouldn't have 12 mole people.
So we're keeping it at 6. We have 6 mole people, and until we get a sustainable living situation, we're keeping it at 6. I had an actual vivid dream. I wish I was kidding about what I'm about to tell you about this. I had a vivid dream about how to build the base, but in my vivid dream, it was like a movie. They had characters with personalities and plot lines, but all that my vivid quarantine dream wanted me to tell me was, this is how you should build your base. And that was it. And then I woke up and I was like, oh no.
You build it, they will come.
Yeah,
Have either of the rest of you had vivid quarantine dreams yet? I think that's the thing. I've had one.
Yeah, I had one.
They're apparently very common.
I was just out walking the neighborhood, just walking around my block for exercise. And I saw a guy come out of his house with his garbage, and it was garbage night. So he was going to, and I looked and I thought, okay, our timing is going to put us right at the same point at the same time. So I'm going to walk out into the middle of the road to avoid him. And he looked up and saw me, dropped his garbage, and with this big grin on his face, walked out into the middle of the road to be in my way again. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And so I walked back to the sidewalk, and he grins bigger, and he follows me, and he's basically just in my way, won't let me walk the rest of the way home. And I'm and then he gets up right up into my face, and it's and I was like, what are you doing? Get away from me. And then he called his 2 teenage sons. I was trying to call my husband. I was right around the corner from my house trying to call my husband to come help me, get away from this creepy dude. And he called his 2 teenage sons out of the house to grab my cell phone and steal my cell phone, and they're circling around me, and it was the worst dream ever. And okay, this I've never seen this man before. He is not my actual neighbor. I do.
You know what? Are you? This could be alternate universe, Amanda. You're actually just seeing your life, what it could have been.
just for a second, I actually obsess on this about dreams, that the people you dream that you have not seen before, or the people like, that's not your neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Well, it makes you wonder, have you seen that person before, like just in
That's
passing?
what it's supposed to be. You're like you don't actually like make up the face. It's someone you saw. So it could be at the grocery store, or it could be a background extra in a film you're
Okay,
watching.
I didn't know that.
It's alternate universe.
Or it's an alternate universe you.
Which is sad, because your alternate universe self is quarantined and dealing with this crap.
There's no day that she's gonna find this guy. She's gonna be walking. She's gonna be like, "Oh my god, it's him from my dream."
If we go by like the multiverse theory, that there's like infinite multiverses based on every decision that we make. So like if you could choose another, if you made a slightly different decision, the world will be essentially almost the same, but just slightly different because of what you made. That could just be one of those many multiverse.
It could be.
Multiverse me punches this guy in the face. I was pissed off. And I was mad all day. Like, I woke up from this dream, like, heart beating.
I hate
and,
when
like,
that happens.
Maybe that's what
and
it's
then I was
supposed
just
to
mad
be.
all day. I wanted to, like, go around the corner and find him.
Yeah, I don't remember what my vivid dream was, but I remember it stressed me out enough that afterwards I had to sleep in more to, like, get over it, kind of. It was that stressful. Yeah.
I just wanted to get up and play Oxygen Not Included, and I was like, no, Natalia, no. Bad Natalia. Slap your hand. Get away from the computer. You have to wait for Jessie. She's very invested.
It's my only, like, source
Jessie
of
and, like,
entertainment.
3 other people.
Fun. It's been rough, especially because I had to cancel 2 of my flights for 2 of the fun things that I was going to do.
Yeah.
One that was supposed to happen this weekend, or like yesterday when you're listening to this podcast, we were supposed to be at AT's. Yeah, that's not happening.
And
then I have an LA
like
trip that I had to cancel, and I haven't been having dreams, but I have been having depression sleeps all the time.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm doing.
Like, so we need these mole people.
We
is what we're saying. So if you out there also need some mole people in your life, twitch.tv/Social Nights is for you, my dudes. Finger guns, ayo.
And it's related to dramas because Kim Mulhay is in it.
Oh, Kim Mulhay, he's coming soon. As soon as we get this
mole pun for Eamon Ho too. I was trying, but
Lee Moleho.
Well, like, Eamon Mo,
Lehman Mole. I kind of like Lehman Mole.
But we can't have him right now. We can't have him. No.
We can't have him. I gotta solidify the base, and then we have to like.
Now I kind of want like a whole like
Boys Over Flowers.
Boys Over Flowers, like mole universe. All like.
Okay, after we get Future Atlantis. Future Atlantis 2.0. After we finish the accomplishments, we will start a brand new base, and it will be the Boys Over the BOF.
Moles Over Flowers.
The BOF
Moles Over Flowers.
You want to know what it is real list?
Moles Over Flowers. Oh my god.
Or
get them flowers too. It's part of like one of their stress things. Like, they can stop and smell the flowers.
So for people who are into The Sims, that would be like each little family unit would be like different dramas. Like that would be.
Yeah. Ooh. It's like that.
I should get The Sims
Trail all in one.
Yeah,
That's
it's like imagine if The Sims, you didn't want them to die.
Yeah, basically. And like it's not just us, because I've been again not doing anything but like watching replays of this on YouTube, because that's what you do. And every single person, it doesn't matter who they are, they just develop such a fondness for those little moles. And you can see, they'll like zoom in on them and they'll be like, "What are you? Oh, you're sleeping. Oh, okay."
Remember when Kronka got so stressed?
Yeah, we were like
give her like a 5-hour massage. We were like, Kronka, please.
I mean, like even Hans Mole Man got stuck in the hole.
Oh yeah, Hans Mole Man almost died. Oh boy,
it was so stressful. And we were like,
so stressful. We were like, oh god, but thank God Beyonce was there. to go save his ass. Like, we just kept going, Beyonce, quit, Hans is in trouble.
So, Lee Min Ho.
Woo! Back on topic. Like, we're just doing our thing. So, Lee Min Ho. Lee Min Ho is an actor. He's pretty good looking. He's very well known. He's actually a pretty good actor, despite the fact he often picks questionable projects. But, like, listen, dude's got to pay his bills just like everyone else.
Like, people like them too, so it's not like.
Were we aware that he was a singer? Because he's a singer.
I mean, yeah, well, he's one of those like I have to sing at my fan signing singers. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a Roy Bang style singer, if you know who that is. Good old Roy Bang. By the way, if you don't know who Roy Bang is, that's Sung Hoon's singing alternate ego, who has actual albums and things. Yeah, so it's sort of like that. So Lee Min Ho, he's our age, and by our I mean Sky and mine's.
Yeah, he's our.
He's not my age.
No, he's our. He's our
Nuna.
He's our Chingo. In fact, he is the same month you are.
Yeah.
So you're like besties.
We're like the best of friends.
Like the bestest.
Oh my god, me and him, Chingu.
You know what? He actually seems like he would be a really great best friend. Like,
yeah, I feel like
he and
I would get along pretty well. Like, I feel like we'd have a good time.
Doesn't he has a chihuahua, so I mean it works.
Like, we're already best friends.
So chill, and then like he'll crack a joke, but then he's also like very quiet sometimes, so like he'd definitely be the friend that you could be in the same room with him and then like not talk until like an hour later, and then you say something and you'd be funny and then you go right back into being very comfortable with not talking to him.
Yeah. Doesn't he? I mean, he seems like an introvert, doesn't he?
No, he does.
Yeah, he's talked about it before. Yeah, that he really is likes to stay home, homebody introverted. But also, I mean, he is so popular.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you would have to be.
Yeah,
you're so much
out.
Like
as compared to like Gong Yu, like I think that Gong Yu would probably be a little bit more socially out there if he was so popular, because you can tell that really affected like Gong Yu's. He became more secluded and stuff because of his popularity, whereas Lee Min Ho hasn't been.
I think he's just happy to be home, Just What I was finding, so like the people that I know who all got into K-dramas like about 5 to 10 years ago, which is like when I got into K-dramas, he was in their first K-drama. Like, doesn't matter, like for some reason.
That's true.
He's been there just being like, why, hello.
He's like the first like actor that you know, like you can like recognize and know his name. It's him.
Which is funny, like that's not true for me. Like I'm just now getting
it's not really for me either. But we're newer, right? Like we're not in that 5 to 10 range. We're in that.
We've been around.
Yeah.
We've been around for a while. No, like literally, it was so weird. This one time, I was talking with a girl I went to high school with, who was like, this was like 5 years ago. And for some reason, she's like, oh, what are you doing? And then I was like, oh, I'm watching some K-dramas and whatever. She's like, oh, my God, do you love Lee Min Ho? And I was like, what? And like, I hadn't talked to this girl. It was because I was shooting her wedding. So like, we were just like, chatting, right? And I was just like, yes, I guess. Like, he's okay.
He was so big that he was like one of the first KCON hosts.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a host, huh?
Like LA. KCON
wow.
LA.
Like he's very popular.
Something notable about him is that he hasn't really been on all the variety shows that a lot of the other people go on. So like that's a notable
his personality.
Thing. Right.
Just can't do it.
And I did read a tiny like question answer interview thing. His agency was pretty much saying, but this was years ago, so like who knows now. But back in the day, it was he didn't feel comfortable yet with that type of entertainment. Like if not used to that, and especially I don't know, I think variety shows are tough for people that don't have a personality for that. Like it takes a certain type of humor to like handle it. So but so I just think it's notable to say that usually we would talk about, on this variety show they did this, or they were funny on this show, but like he really hasn't done those other than interviews. So
He's been in like all the popular shit. It's kind of wild. Like, and it's just so interesting because what I think is kind of fun is that if you're like a newer K-pop or not K-pop, K-drama fan, like I know a bunch of people who only started getting into Asian television in like the last 2 years. He's not on their radar yet. Yeah. Because he's been in the military for like the past 2 years. And it's like, if you don't go for like, the older stuff, you might not actually have encountered him that much. So so everyone being like, oh, Lee Min-ho show, he's coming back. It might be like, why? What's the big deal? Like, so this guy's coming back. Who cares?
You see that on Twitter a lot when they're talking about this new one. There's a lot of people who are like so focused on other characters and don't really get why Lee Min-ho is the big, like, why is he the star, not like Woo Do-hwan?
And you're like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand.
Oh. Like your Opa is pretty, but he's not Lee Min-ho. Like,
oh, my sweet summer child, do you not understand? It's really funny because I was kind of like bummed when he went into the military. Like, and which doesn't really make sense because like, none of his dramas are like, oh, it's like my favorite drama. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss him.
Be around.
And even my husband was like, oh, Lee Min-ho's going into the military. That sucks. Like, oh. Like he only like passively, like just sort of in passing by, watches K-dramas with me. And he was like, oh, that's kind of.
Well, you just get so used to him, like like I don't know, like you would compare it to like someone, I guess, I don't know. I was trying to think of a Western actor. Like, if Leonardo DiCaprio didn't say anything for a while, you'd be like, what? I'm not like super into him, but like I still want to know how he's doing. And kind of like it's a friend that I haven't
know he's
seen in
okay,
a while. You just get used to him being around and so popular and everybody talking about him, and then showing up in dramas and stuff, and then like even just in the news, and like also I was a fan of Miss A, so like the Susie connection, like
so it's like
he always had him around.
If you weren't aware of this, he did date Susie for quite a while.
It was a really long time.
He also dated Queen Park Min Young too.
So boy must be nice as well if those two ladies are gonna openly admit to dating him. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, she was at her like top, like high. It was a high point for Miss A. Like it would have been. It was a really big scandal, but like then nobody really cared that much. I mean, like they probably did, obviously, but I wasn't around like know the Twitter fandom that likes to say that sort of thing. But like it was always like, so everybody was like, yeah, they're dating, and like it was that way for a while, like for 3 or 4 years.
I know, and it wasn't like like when Chen admits he's dating and everyone loses their mind. It was like they admit they're dating, they're like, oh, good for them. Like you're just like, why is this the one that everyone's okay with?
I don't know, I guess.
But you know what?
She was so big. Like that's when she was really getting popular.
Yeah.
And he was so big. Maybe it was like a Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake type of situation where everybody's like, yes.
Everyone was like, okay. They're like, I want to see where this goes.
Like, our dating couple.
Watching. Yeah, he seems like a nice dude, and he has a really nice nose. I just really like his nose. It's just so nice. Am I the only one who just like sees his profile and I'm like,
didn't he like pay for that nose though?
He might have, but I don't care. He looks good on him.
I think he always had that
nose,
but that doesn't mean it's not a nice nose. I'm just saying.
Listen, you know what? Like the Thai actor Push paid for that whole face, but I still think it looks great. So.
Same. I mean, if you're gonna pay for a new nose, hopefully it looks good.
Always a good one,
like,
you know.
Get the funds illegally? No, then go for it.
Yeah, then you do you, and it's like you want a new nose, get a new nose. Like, I still think Kwang Yi's cute, and he's got a whole new face, too, you know? Like, whatever. You do
he's
you.
so funny.
You do you. I love him. Yeah, he's so open about it. But anyway, that's not who we're talking about.
Just sidetracked.
Yeah, we're getting sidetracked by plastic surgery again. We have nothing against plastic surgery. If you have plastic surgery, good for you. But if you don't want plastic surgery and someone is trying to force you to get it, punch them in the face so they need plastic surgery. Boom.
Wow,
Done.
you just escalated like to violence. And that's really not something that you do very often.
That's true. I'm a pacifist, but when it comes to like
Good
people
for
trying to
this.
control other people's bodies,
You're like, no.
ooh, this vegan's taking a break. I hope you consent to having your face punched. I take anyone trying to tell me what to do with my body as consent to me kicking theirs, like
Yeah, there's consequences,
it's just how it goes. So, what are some of his more well-known works, you might ask? Of course, if
Well,
you
the
follow us
biggest
for a
one.
while, the biggest, I'm not even, it's like, by biggest we mean most well-known, not best or
Oh yeah, but
biggest budget or
it is,
anything.
but it's also biggest in terms of it really was what
Yeah, it was
brought
huge. It
international.
was huge.
fans
Is
and
the
screen drama.
very infamous Boys Over Flowers.
Almost
His style and hair choices, that weren't his, obviously. The style and hair choices made in that put him on the map.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. So since Boys Over Flowers was my introduction to Lee Minho,
So bad.
I got used to that hairstyle.
Yeah.
And so then this past week when I've been watching a lot of his other shows, I love his hair so much. I
I know, he
appreciate
has
his
such
hair
beautiful
so much.
hair, and they just did him dirty. They
I
did
get,
him so.
no, but I get where they were going for.
Yeah,
Like it
Mhm.
that was the
got the
character.
face,
So it's yeah,
like-
okay.
Yeah.
But then there was that one episode where he like wears his hair normal because she made fun of his hair, and then you're just like, oh.
Or when
What
they're
we
all
could have had.
for the beach, and then it's just like starting to frizz out.
And it looks cute, and you're like,
oh.
oh, the dream was alive. Some other notable work.
Personal Taste was right after Boys Over Flowers. And I'm not going to talk a ton about Personal Taste, but what was funny about it was seeing a cameo from the chick from Boys Over Flowers be his ex in Personal Taste.
Yeah. And
For the
Personal Taste, it was
very
like,
next year, it was really funny to see that.
I will, despite the fact that I didn't really enjoy Personal Taste, not because of anything that any of the actors did. I sort of have to give it props for like being a weirdly liberal show in a lot of
Especially at
ways.
that year.
Yeah, like it was basically he needs to be in this house because he's an architect and he wants to like see how this house gets together. And so the girl who lives there needs a roommate but doesn't want to live with a man because conservative society, but accidentally sees some misunderstanding and thinks that he's gay. So it's like, well, I can live with a gay dude. So she lets him move in. He's not gay.
But he has to pretend that way.
But he has to pretend to be gay so he can keep like spying on the architecture of this house.
Here's what I am going to say about his character. He's never the one that made the misunderstanding in the first place on purpose. Like, it was all
He
her.
just sort of went with it. He just never told her she was wrong.
Even initially, he didn't like, it took a bit for him to even know that thing. But even then, it's not as if he put on a caricature or...
No, he was just being, and so it wasn't like they were like being like, oh, he's being super feminine, like wishy-washy, like stereotypical gay. It's like, no, he was just acting like he normally did. And then she was like, that is a gay man.
And they did not play up the like, oh, he's still like obviously so very attracted to her and he's just acting different just because he's supposed to not be.
No.
They were just legit friends. Like,
yeah, they were just roommates, man. Like,
fine. Which, that was nice to see.
That was what was kind of unique about, the depiction of a gay character at that time, even though he wasn't gay. But what was more interesting, the depiction of her thinking he's gay, but not expecting him to be a stereotype of gay.
And we didn't say the actress. It's Sonia Jin.
Oh, yeah.
So, that was another reason I was watching it, because it was...
that's a Nuno romance.
Yeah. Technically, yes.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if, I don't quite... It's been, many years since I watched it.
I don't actually
and I think
know.
they're, supposed to be the same
episodes.
age. Yeah, I think they're, supposed to be around the same age. So it's but the actress was actually...
Yeah, she's,
quite a deal older. Then we got Faith. Oh, boy.
Well, so City Hunter was next, then Faith.
Oh my, I don't know what order they're in. I'm just going by what came to mind.
So,
City Hunter, Park Min Young.
Yeah.
Action. It's sort of like Healer, but not as good.
Pre-Healer.
Dude, I'm totally getting into City Hunter right now. So
I really enjoyed City Hunter quite a bit, but I can admit Healer is a better show. And the two are often compared because they have very similar plot and very similar filming, and they both have Park Min Young in them.
I was gonna say very similar main lead.
Very
actress.
similar female main lead. So similar, in fact, they might be mistaken for. Oh wait, they're the same person.
to me, there's a big difference. Like from Square One, City Hunter's about revenge.
Yeah.
Healer's not that.
Mhm.
So, like, but
Yeah.
a Batman-esque action character.
Yeah.
Park
Sort of
Min-
like, the secret identity, like vigilante. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if you're like really looking for a hoe fix and pick, City Hunter, he only shows up for like one scene at the end of episode 1. You got to get through the backstory before he exists in order, to get
I know.
him.
I used to feel
The
so
tease.
bad because I used to joke that I had like a Lee Min-ho allergy because I watched the airs and I inhaled that over New
airs.
Year's. Like
Ugh.
I just
We're
because
getting
I
to
was,
it.
I was new to the dramas and I enjoyed it. Like, is it good? Questionable. Did I enjoy his character in it? No, I did not. But did I enjoy watching it as a whole? Yes, I did. But so then I thought, okay, Lee Min-ho, I hear a lot about him, and he was pretty good in this. I'm going to go start watching everything. Like, City Hunter dropped it halfway through the first episode. I could not get past the concept of this idiot, his best friend saying, go take care of my wife and son, and him interpreting that to mean I should kidnap my best friend's baby and run away. I was like, no, that's not what he meant by that. So I just could not get past it. So it's not even Lee Min-ho's fault. I didn't
You
even
didn't even get to Lee Min-ho yet. You didn't make it that far.
in succession, it was like, and then I dropped like Legend of the Blue Sea, and I dropped Boys Over Flowers. Like I went through. I tried to watch like everything, and I dropped them all.
I've seen them
an
all.
episode in, and I was like, I must be allergic to Lee Min-ho. Like I don't know why, but I am. And then
Maybe
I
allergic to
went
his
back to
projects.
watch Legend of the Blue Sea, and I loved it. So
Yeah.
I've gotten over my allergy. So I'm
It took me a couple episodes to get into Legends of Blue Sea, but we are not there yet.
So
I know,
City
I
Hunter.
know.
We are still on
I
City
don't.
Hunter.
So City Hunter, I love action shows, and it took me to the middle of episode 2 to finally be like, okay, I'm way down for this. Prior to that, I was like, I don't know, guys. Like, I really, and that's saying something because I loved Healer. Like, that's totally my type of thing. I figured that City Hunter would at least hit me pretty similar, and now it is. So, like, finally, Park Min-young being a bodyguard and throwing Lee Min-ho around, that makes me happy.
See, and that does make me want to go back and watch it. And when I say I dropped all these things, I didn't actually drop them. I put them all on hold, and then they still are sitting there. Other than Legend of the Blue Sea, which I actually
I
finished
dropped
and
them.
just-
There's
Yeah,
no way
I
I'll
like-
go back to them.
I was like, no,
did
I'm
not.
gonna. Yeah, I keep putting things on hold, and it's. Yeah.
I
need
watch
to drop some stuff.
everything.
We
You
know.
watch everything though.
I know.
That's
And
your
well, it's 'cause I
thing.
don't
That's your
sleep.
brand.
See, when you don't sleep, you got lots of time to watch questionable shows. Speaking of questionable shows, after that we had Faith. Boy. I actually really enjoyed it. It is a questionable show, but I really I enjoyed it. It was kind of cute.
Because I started Faith this week, too.
Mm-hmm.
Into Faith, I'm like, are you kidding me that there's a glow-in-the-dark sword fight right now with Black Light?
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
And then, Force lightning powers, like, wow, I didn't see that coming. I was prepared for, like, old school stuff, but...
Yeah, you didn't realize they were magicians. Heyo. Yeah, neither did I when I started it. I thought it was just like a time slip, like
Savior.
like
That's
oh,
what I
she
thought it was.
accidentally like falls down a well and the well's magical and she ends up in the past. Woo! No, that's not the case. Because I like those, like like the King Arthur and Camelot, like the Yankee and King Arthur's Camelot or whatever, like where they, and they're like, I'm out of place, but I know the future, like, I can help us. Like,
Potter stories, like,
no,
that stuff.
it is not like that. It is not like that at all.
And so far, I think I would enjoy it a lot. So far, I'm not really digging the lead female character, but
no.
That's just the way she's set up. She's supposed to be like that, I'm pretty sure.
He looks so good in that show. Visual on point.
I think what describes his character pretty well early on is he tries to go get a doctor, which ends up being the female lead person. Mm-hmm. So he's in the present then. He doesn't really try to explain anything, because of course he doesn't. He's trying to ask if she could heal somebody with such and such type of wound, and she's not answering him. So he's like, whatever. So he just goes over to somebody and gives them the exact same sword wound on their neck.
And he's like, heal them.
Yeah,
Can you fix this person?
And then she does to like save the poor person. And then he's like, okay, I'm kidnapping you. Like that's what happened.
It's a questionable show. But it is a fun show that if you turn off your brain and you don't really think too hard about it and you just go, ooh, pretty, you'll have a good time.
Sometimes you need that.
Sometimes that's what you need. Then comes
Natalia's face.
Which
you can only know
it's got a great cast. That show has a fantastic cast. And it has Hot Daddy. I mean...
I just need to say one thing. I am so good at finding something I enjoy about every show I watch. And we all know this. I'm really good at even the worst shows. I'm like, well, but I really enjoyed The Struggle. I've seen Airs 3 times. I have tried 3 times to like this show. I keep thinking to myself, it's so popular, because it's always like, oh, #1 watch show on Drama Fever. R.I.P.
Really is.
And it was like it's like it's on Netflix. It's on every streaming service. So I was like, I must be missing something.
On Netflix, it's called Inheritors.
It's called Inheritors on Netflix. So I kept thinking, like, I must be missing something that makes this show so good. So I have watched it 3 times, 3 of the worst times I have ever had watching. It's like, I try not to, like, hate on things, because I think it's much nicer to, like, love things than to hate things. It takes a lot less energy, and, like, it brings more positive vibes. But that show.
So stop watching it.
But I like 2 things about the show. Boobs. Park Young-sik. That's it. Those are the 2 things. Woobs and Park Young-sik. Park Young-sik, hilarious. Every line he's in. Gold, scene stealer, very small character, scene stealer, steals all the scenes and my heart. Woobs, such a dick. He's such a dick, but he's really good looking. So you're just like, damn it.
Like, for me, unlike the male lead, he does grow some through the drama. Like, he does become a better human being. You don't ever really see that with the male lead, which is kind of annoying. Like, I want to like you. I want to root for the... I don't. But, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of want to, like... I don't want to watch it because I dropped it. But I would like to watch it, like, with, like, someone who is actually, like, in high school. Because it's definitely... It was a show that was purposely made to be the, like, Korean equivalent of something like Gossip Girl and an American high school drama. That's what their full intentions for this show was supposed to be. So I wonder if watching it in that age range, you would get, like, a different viewpoint.
But I must say, if you want to see some of the worst acting you have ever seen.
I know, you said America, and I was like,
that take place in America
it's
are
so bad.
Incredible.
It's like so bad.
painfully.
Like, you can't even imagine it. What you're imagining is not even close to what it is.
No, it's not even, like, what you think might be bad. No, you don't have to watch the whole drama.
No,
All
all
you
you have
watch
to do
is
is, like,
Parks in America.
Google Lee Min Ho and English, and that's, like, basically it. There's, like, one
Yeah.
other show he has, like, a couple of lines of, like, English,
Like,
but, like,
you
it's the
will
majority of that.
die.
His
You
best
will
friend, the surfer, and you're like,
die.
oh my
And
gosh.
And the cop, and the surfer, and the cop, and you're just like,
And I don't understand, because they're literally filming in LA, like,
yeah, they
where,
find,
like,
yeah.
everybody who works in the drive-thru is a better actor than the people they hired. Like,
It's one of those shows that, like, I see that and go, why did I stop acting? Because I should just believe in myself a little bit more.
I could
God.
be in Airs, my dude. You could have been in Airs.
You
We
just
could have all
need
been
to
in
know.
Airs.
Yeah.
You would have done a better job. That's why. You would.
I'm too good.
Oh
Yeah, you were too
boy.
good for that. So, but okay, because I have not seen Airs, what you haven't mentioned anything about really Lee Min Ho being in it. So, like, how was the
Okay. The thing
character?
about Lee Min Ho being in it is he's fine. Like, he doesn't have an interesting character in it.
It's like he has a lead character, but it's such a character-driven show with, like, when you would watch Gossip Girl and, you have the people who are, like, the top ones, but you still have, like, every other character's storyline with every other, like, relationship between the family, because they all have issues with their rich parents, and then, like, the love lines in it. So it's like he's there, but, like, also there's just so much more going on with the show, and it's definitely a soap opera style.
Yeah, and, like,
show.
and his character arc is so cliche that you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
just very
he's
rich,
the illegitimate
tribal,
son
second
of, like,
son.
the mistress of this dude, and so,
Like,
like, his family hates him, and he hates his family, and he falls in love with the maid's daughter, the classic, like, oh, take the money, you're not gonna date him. And
I do think that, like, Park Shin-hye and him obviously have a really great relationship with each other, and so, like, I do feel like if you want to see her kind of shine more and be comfortable with a person, it's him, because they obviously, like, are best friends with each other outside of work.
Yeah.
Like, so there is that, like, kind of, like, it's nice even though they're the romantic lead, so it doesn't really work in that way, but, like, it is nice to kind of see that there's a little bit more of a growth in that character, but it's just like, it is standard, and it also is, like, written for younger crowds. Like, it's not even, like, it's just a
and it doesn't have, like, as much of the, like Boys Over Flowers is not good, but Boys Over Flowers is hokey and kind of fun when you watch it, because you're like, oh my god, this is so stupid.
Is very confident in itself.
It's very confident in how stupid it is. It's just like, I
say,
might be stupid, but I'm gonna go with it.
If you do have a younger person that you want to try to get into K-dramas, I think Airs might actually be a good one, because it is so closely like a Western teenage show that it might actually be a really great introduction, because it has the craziness because of the surfer best friend is allergic to soybean flour, and it's just, there's stupid stuff that happens, but it's like, it's not as crazy as, like, a different, like, an Asian, like, Boys Over Flowers has different things that are very culturally for their entertainment that would be shocking for Western audiences coming into it, especially, like, high school kids. I think that, like, Airs would be the better choice to kind of, like, be like, hey, here's something. And that might be why it's always, like, rated, because it is younger kids watching it, and they're going to be the ones to rate it more than we would.
And I mean, there's, like, 20, 24 episodes, something ridiculous. And
It's
I think I watched it, like, banged it out in a week. Like, it was, I mean, it was over the Christmas holidays or something.
Several storylines.
The thing about it is, even when his projects are like, you're like, this is kind of a dumb show, he's good in them. Like, he is doing his job. He is looking good. He's acting well. He's being the character. What more do you want from him?
Despite the fact that I did not find Lee Min Ho to be, like, he wasn't my end game preference for that drama, I still went out and tried to watch, like, all his other dramas. Because he was good in it. Like, he was good in it. So,
Then there was 7 First Kisses. He
Well,
was in
the
that.
Legend of the Blue Sea was the next one.
Was it? I thought 7 First Kisses came out before that.
I feel like,
No.
yeah. Really?
No?
Well, 7 First Kisses, we're talking about it like it's this long drama. Let's just
No,
go ahead and
it's
talk
like
about 7
literally,
First
it's
Kisses.
like an hour long at the most. It's like a little web drama.
And can we just talk about how his role is super duper tiny in it?
Yeah, well, he's the last dude. He's the 7th one, okay? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I
he's
know.
Endgame. Leaving
Yeah,
like
Endgame.
what I find funny about that is that, okay, so this show, the premise of 7 First Kisses is like it's a web drama produced by like Lottie World, where this girl basically has
It's mostly about the mall.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
about the mall, where she basically has delusional fantasies about these dudes who come to ask for directions at the information kiosk at the mall. About how she is somehow in relationships with them and the different sort of relationships that they have, and they're all just ridiculous.
Awesome. They are
Ridiculous.
They're all
It is a
tropes.
fun little show. But anyway, he's like the last dude, and he's like Endgame. Like he's like, oh, she's the one that she's gonna do that. So like clearly, as like the last one, as the one that this show is prefacing, like this is the dude you want to end up with. Like people love Lee Min-ho, you know.
Well, the other dudes for a second that she went through in order to
That's
attain
true.
Lee Min-ho.
We got Lee Joon-gi
Mm-hmm.
playing the church opera.
Well, he was like an IT tycoon too. So like,
Yes,
Yeah.
the rich church opera.
They're always rich.
They're always.
Park Hae-jin,
Yeah.
and he was like a manager at the mall, standoffish
Okay.
manager. Ji Chang-wook played healer, like
Yeah, he's a spy. He's a spy.
Kai being like,
In his Nuna romance.
Yeah.
but they go dancing and it's really cute. Taekyon,
Mm-hmm.
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 the soapy like chaebol type person, and there was like kimchi slapping going on. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm. Top good times.
Yeah.
So, playing an actor, he was pretty much just playing himself in snazzy suits. She went through all of those people to attain.
Yeah, she
Lee
went through
Min-ho.
all those people and was like, you know, who's better than all of them? Lee Min-ho.
She was an adventure writer, so he's all like garbed up in his adventure stuff.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, this is like the first of several of these, because there's like a second group that just
Yeah.
was like happened. Was it like 2016? But it's essentially anybody who is on their campaigns, which
Yeah,
you can
or
see
get
because
get roped
yeah,
into
because
this.
like 2 p.m. was one of them, so then Super Junior is also one of them. So there was a couple people from there in the second round. Yeah,
The second round one is crazier than the first one by
it's
far.
a little Oh.
The first kiss, I actually think it was pretty darn fun. Like it was nice little.
I watched that, and I had only seen 1 or 2 of the guys in things before. Like that was so early in that I wasn't getting it all. Like I got some of the tropes, but I didn't get why it was such a big deal that, like,
This
I'm
person
in my
was-
chat rooms, my drama chats and stuff, and people are like killing themselves over like Ji Chang-wook, and I'm like, I don't get it. 'cause,
Who is this
like,
man?
I'm
Who
like,
is
it was
he?
kind of cute, but like, I'm watching the one with Kai, and I'm like, ew, like, she was like his tutor, like that's kind of creepy. And they're like, no, it's a Nuna romance. That's how they work. And I was like, still creepy. And they're like, no, but he's like a dancer, and it's like, and I was like, okay.
You're like, no, no, we mean literally. He's literally a professional dancer. He's very well
literally
known.
an idol.
I
Not in the
the
show.
only one
In
that
real life.
I think I had seen before that. I think I had seen Park Hae-jin and Jun-ki. Is that his? Whatever. Scarlet Heart Rayo. I'd seen him. I'd seen the church opera before, and I'd seen Park Hae-jin in something before, and the rest of them, I don't think I'd ever seen in anything. And I wasn't into K-pop really at all yet. So like, it was amusing, but I was like kind of lost. Like all the inside jokes were lost on me. So that was.
So I feel like if maybe you watched it again now, it would make a lot more sense.
I might get a little more out of it. Yeah.
Just like I need to rewatch Drama World because I watched it way too early on in my drama career because like I did not know what the crap was going on half the time.
Watch the second season.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I
I do feel like we should warn people, just in case you're one of those people who watches dramas for the kissing, and you see a drama called 7 First Kisses, and you think,
you ain't getting
perfect.
shit.
There's no kissing. There is no kissing.
This
I
is
think
a drama that
very
was
end-
shown on kiosks at their actual store. Like,
Yeah,
you're not
you-
getting anything.
No,
You ain't
like,
getting
there's not even
shit.
pancake kissing.
There's nothing. There's
every
like
time
it literally
lips
cuts.
almost touch. Cut. We're back to the kiosk, and she's back in reality.
No. Yeah.
So don't get your hopes up. The name is a
still fun.
lie.
That was released the same year as The Legend of the Blue Sea, which we will now talk about.
The Legend of the Blue Sea. I would say his best show that I have seen of all the ones we have mentioned. It's so funny. It's like, it's such a weirdly funny show that I wasn't expecting anything from. And it's actually like, probably like, okay, so I have like my top 11 list of shows that I love. It's probably like number 13. Like, it's like,
Wow.
it's really fun. Like, it's a fun show. And so basically the plot is he's like a con man and there's a mermaid and the mermaid falls in love with him at first sight and comes to the
thing in general.
Yeah, and she comes to dry land to like be in love with him and knows literal fish out of water plot where she knows nothing and he's like get away from me, like I don't fucking know you, like, but then he starts using her in his cons. It's like really fun and there's a lot of fun like side characters and their chemistry is really good. It's the girl, I always forget what her name is, but she's from, you know, my Love from Another Star and yeah. And it also has that wonderful meme moment of Yoonji
Hyun.
Yes, of her watching Soji Sub on the computer. Like, I haven't slept for days. I've been watching dramas.
If anyone knows that show, it's from that GIF.
Yeah, it's from that. It's that GIF is from that show. It's, you know. No, it's like a really fun show. I thought he was on his game in that. Though I did also see around the same time I watched his movie Gangnam 77. Really good. It's really good. It's very violent. And there is some nudity, and he does threaten to cut off a man's penis with a pair of antique scissors. So, not for the faint of heart, but it is a really good movie. So, there's that.
Has anyone seen Bounty Hunters by any chance?
Yeah.
I saw half of Bounty Hunters and fell asleep, not because the show was bad, but because I have really bad insomnia, and I was like on like after like a 4-day no sleep situation. And so I was like, oh, I'll watch this. And then sleep was like, you're done now. So I've never finished it, but I really enjoyed the first half.
It was fun. It was enjoyable. I think I watched it at the same time, like around the same time as I watched that sort of similar one with Kim Woo Bin in it, the con artists or whatever. And I enjoyed con artists more. But I think Bounty Hunters was like bigger, like it was brighter and like
it had a real Armageddon Deep Impact situation where two similar movies come out at the same time and one is more popular but one is actually better and it's usually not the more popular one, you know.
No, but it was fun. It was definitely it was enjoyable. It was a solid, 7 out of 10. Like it was just
it was a fun movie.
It was a movie.
And did you enjoy Legend of the Blue Sea, Amanda?
I did once I picked it back up. So it was like back, what was it, 2018, that we all made our little New Year's resolutions or whatever, and I was gonna clear out my hold list before the end of the new year. I had 10 things on there and I could do it. I knew it. So Legend of the Blue Sea was the one that I picked. It was the only one I got off the list, but I did get it off the list, and I quite enjoyed it. Once I,
Yeah, it's
I
really...
think I made it through like an episode and a half the first time and put it on hold. So I think I just wasn't in the mood. Whatever it was, I wasn't in the mood for it. And when I actually pushed through by the third episode, I was right into it, and I was really enjoying it. So
it's also got
and
like
they're
he's reborn.
Yeah,
Well,
like
you
there's
know,
a
like
whole
past life
kind of reborn,
situation.
rebirth. So
the
you
stuff
get
that
some
happens
of that
in the past and
sparkly Sagook stuff too, because it's like it's the brighter colored Sagook type stuff.
Yeah.
It's not so like, it's not a dark grimy one. It's the bright stuff
the happy
going on. And
Jin Young's
sparkly
in it.
mermaids.
He has a bit role. That's always fun. He plays Lee Min-ho's younger self. Good times. Even though they're like almost the same age, but
gotta love that.
that's okay. We gonna look past that. No, it's really fun. And if you like the mermaid stuff, it's a fun mermaid. Like, you know, like I say that as though there's like a vast quantity of mermaid stuff when I can think of one other mermaid K-drama. But like, you know, like if you like sort of like, you know, like fantasy creatures in the real world.
The one that I hear more people like.
Yeah. Hey, I like Surplus Princess.
I love Surplus
Princess is really good. It just
I haven't seen either of them. I'm just saying what I hear.
Surplus Princess is really funny. I think the difference is that Legends of the Blue Sea had more money and a more bankable cast behind it.
And Lee Min-ho.
Yes, and by bankable cast, I mean Lee Min-ho was in it. But, you know, Surplus Princess has our queen, our best friend Sulgi in it, so...
And she's fantastic. All her little costumes that she wears and her... And she gets to...
And it has Nam Joo Hyuk in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
It does.
Yes, it does.
The super tall, and it's so good because he's the one who's opposite Sulki, and so like her tiny little shortness and his height, and it's just beautiful to watch. It's so good. I mean, they're a side couple, but it's so good. Their story's great.
Whereas, and it also has our little apple butt, so... on J Rim in it, little kids, and they actually that's where his nickname came from, was because the first time you see him, like he falls in the water and the mermaid's there and she's like, oh, and she's just like thirsty for those buns. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Lee Min-ho.
So then he went into the military after that.
Yes, and so. He's been in the military since then, doing his civic duty. Good for him. Thank you, sir. But he's back now. He's back. The return of the hoe. He's back. He's back. He's come back. And, oh boy, has he picked a project. So when this has come out, the first couple episodes will have been out for a few days. But as we're recording this, we have not seen them yet.
It's not out.
It's
not even out.
It does not exist for another couple days.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow. Yeah, it's Thursday. It comes out tomorrow. Does not exist right now.
Yeah. But we're all excited for it, right?
Yeah. I'm actually pretty pumped. It looks
so pretty.
To be honest, I have no idea what it's about. I can't, is he from, an alternate universe?
Yeah,
is he from a fantasy land?
It's a dual role, though.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you see him as
playing
nowadays. And then there's a time.
He's dual role too?
I'm pretty sure he is.
I think
so. Dang.
So isn't it written by what's her face, who does all the
written by the Heirs writer, I think. Heirs and Goblin.
Yeah, the KES, the big. She does all the big.
Kim In-suk.
Yeah, Kim In-suk. So she does all the big name stuff that TVN makes big budget shows of.
So they throw money at her, and give her big names, and everybody
I don't know, what satanic demon she put an altar to get all of this power, but she has somehow.
She did it, and
she did it, and you know what? You gotta respect the hustle. She's making bank.
Here's a few tags that I think we would enjoy from MDL. Confident female lead.
Thumbs up.
Level-headed character.
Oh, go on.
And multiple character stories. But those are, I wanted to highlight confident in a lead. We down for that.
Yeah,
in
that's
one
like
of the
kind
worlds,
of our wheelhouse.
I can't remember which actress, but she's playing the youngest ever and first female president of Korea. And she looks smoking hot.
Oh.
Like, she looks so good and like so confident. Like yes, I can see why everybody voted for her, because she looks like
she knows
should
what
run
she's
this
up
country.
to. It has Lee Min-ho on a white horse, and I am here for that sort of nonsense. You know, like
The previews look so good. Like, it's just like visually stunning. It just looks.
Do I know what the
gosh.
plot of this thing is? Can I figure it out? No. Do I care?
No.
Also no, because I've been sucked in by the visuals. Whoever their director of photography is, he has gotten me, or she has gotten me, or they. I don't know, male, female, or one of our non-binary friends. Good job.
I think at the very least it's gonna be visually stunning.
Yeah, and that's what I thought when I watched Goblin, which was one of her other pieces. Is like, I remember because I have two of my friends I would go over to their house and watch K-dramas while they just hung out, and so they watched a lot with me. And when I started watching Goblin, one of them was like, "Oh, this one has money behind it." I was like, yes, it does. So it's got some of that Goblin style money going into it.
And this type of money, it would make Western viewers be like, oh, this is like shinier than Western shows by far.
Yeah.
That's shiny.
It's shiny.
I have very purposefully not watched the trailers or read too much about it because I want to be surprised. Because I loved Goblin to pieces and I like shiny stuff. So
yeah. Well, I watched the trailers, but without any subtitles, so I still don't really know.
I've watched the trailers, and they're not very, like, revealing at all.
They don't tell you much.
It literally is mostly about the visuals. Like, I mean, honestly, it looks better than most things on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Like, it
is coming out on Netflix, which means that it has the potential to bring Lee Min-ho to the world. The world will now embrace the Ho. Welcome to your new life, post Lee Min-ho world.
Part of the reason why we were having this episode, because we were trying to do introduction to Lee Min-ho before we were going to talk about this
show next week. So stay tuned. We will let you know how it turned out for us watching the first episode or two. I'm going to see if I can con my coworker into watching it. Oh, I've got her husband. I've got her husband in it to win it.
I think it's great that it's going to be on Netflix. Like, I'm super stoked about that because I feel like I always wish Goblin was on Netflix because I think that would help people in a lot.
I think it's just probably caught in legal things that, like, someone has it, so they can't put it on Netflix. Like, because it was so big that, like, I think just people, like, kind of clumped onto it, and we were like, okay, we're gonna get the rights to it, and so now it's like Netflix wasn't part of the deal, and now, like, Netflix is like, I really want that though.
Yeah.
I'm also always super bummed about, like, I want Healer and City Hunter to be on Netflix too, because I think
City Hunter used to be on Netflix. That's where I watched it.
I watched City Hunter on Netflix. Yeah.
City Hunter presently exists on the high seas, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
City Hunter, I mean, like, that was one of the only, like, when I first started K-dramas and watching them on Netflix, because I wasn't watching them a lot on other channels, because I was only paying for Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely on there.
Oh, what a simple time that was.
I will say, not that, like, I think at this point, if you haven't watched Boys Over Flowers, you're not going to, but I did see, when I was, like, scrolling through, Boys Over Flowers is going to be off Netflix very soon. Like, beginning of May. It's the first time I ever have seen, like, it's, like, having an end date on it, and I was like, okay. But that also means it's because they've been taking off a lot of their old stuff for new stuff. So that means something else. It might not be like new. It might be like,
it's okay because it's still on Viki, probably for as long as Viki exists.
No, Viki is like gonna be grasping at, holding on to it for like.
You're like, oh, Boys Over Flowers. That's gonna bring in the kids.
I need this.
I need
wonder
that
if it's
sweet
their most
boys over
rewatched.
flowers money.
I'd like to know the most rewatched, because that's got to be one of them.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
He did. Okay, we didn't really talk about that extensively, but he did a great job in Boys Over Flowers.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Especially watching it the second time and with like someone who had like, you know,
Mhm.
new eyes onto it, because like Sky and I powered through every single episode of the rewatch.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
miss
gotta
an
respect
episode.
the hustle on that man. Like,
We
he
tried.
worked hard
He really did. There
to
were like
make
moments
the
when I was
most-
like, yeah, actually, this
to
is
make
a
the most
really good.
unlikable character. You kind of liked him. And you're
Despite
like, but
him not
why?
growing, he did.
Yeah.
The character did not grow. Let's
No.
be real.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
The gravitas that he brought, as far as how he acted through his role,
Mhm.
He really
Did a
did
really good
take
job.
something and make it a lot better. Like, and
Yeah.
that was
Like, I
purely him.
say that the success of that show is very squarely on his shoulders.
Oh, 100%.
Like, the popularity of Boys Over Flowers would not exist if Lee Min-ho hadn't been the guy in the pilot seat on that one. Because he is bringing 120% effort to an 80% show.
yeah,
Now, like a 60% show.
It's very
He's-
true.
He is
Yeah.
he is going above and beyond to be just, his character is so over the top, just as like a character, not as him doing it, that
Mhm.
like the fact that he made this character seem like a real person and not
Yeah.
a caricature of a person is actually incredible.
I really respect him as an actor for what he did on Boys Over Flowers. And I
Yeah.
think like there is like a lot of like stigma, like people not liking that show. So like then and by default they decide that they want to unfairly hate him
Yeah.
for it. And I don't think that's like
Fair, because
a
he's
fair. It's not fair at all. It doesn't matter. If you don't like a show, you can't say that you hate a person and like decide that they're a worthless person to ever be in the
Yeah.
entertainment system. That's like 100% not an okay thing. But I feel like he just got so much unfair things. I watched it twice, which is like a really big thing for me. I mean, it was a lot of fun because I was with Sky, and so we were chatting for most of it.
Yeah.
And so when you know that things are going to happen, it was fun to be able to see Sky react to that. But like he really does do a good job for
Yeah.
that role, and I don't think I would have kept up with it ever without him
It's just
having
like
pulled it off.
every time he fucking marches into the room in that slow-mo with like the wind blowing his fur cape out
He
of
should
one, and
be
you're just
so
like,
much more worse than he is, and
you're
it's
just
actually
like, this is
shocking.
incredible. Like, you have
How
to
do you
admit,
do
like,
it?
even in those scenes, you have to admit, like, dude's,
Okay.
dude's bringing it. Dude's bringing
Yeah.
off. He totally pulls it off.
Mhm.
He pulls the perm off. He pulls the fur. Like, who could do that other than him? Who?
I really don't think another
it. I
actor.
can't
in
think
Korea
of
could have done
anyone
that.
who could pull it off that well.
No.
Like, kind of a shame that, like, the direction on the female lead was, because, like, especially when you, like, see, like, if you watch, like, the Chinese version that came out in 2018, you see what, like, the show
Could have
could
been.
have been. It was like, here, let's just make the show good and then give it to you, and then you're like, oh, okay. And it actually makes you appreciate the shit he's doing even more, because you're like, oh, like, this is what the show was supposed to be, and he's the only one doing that in the entire show. Him and Eyebrows, you got to admit. Eyebrows brought his A game. No. Good old Eyebrows. Eyebrows is the gangster who doesn't get any lines, by the way.
Doesn't get any lines. He's the least known.
Yeah.
When you think of Boys Over Flower, he's the one you forgot.
Yeah, the one you forgot existed. He
The
didn't
one
have
on
like
Korean
famous
drama
career
pod.
after.
They called him Ringo. I think.
Ringo,
yeah,
yeah.
he's basically
Gave
the
him-
Ringo.
He was Ringo.
He is. I call him Eyebrows. He's got a great set of caterpillars on
does.
that face. But no, like Lee Min-ho, you gotta respect the hustle on the man. I'm actually really pumped he's back. I've actually missed him. Like,
Yeah,
despite
no,
the fact
me
that
too.
I spend more time
Mm.
making fun of his shows than I do like saying what good shows they are, because I do. But like, it's good-natured ribbing. I actually genuinely enjoy him as a person and as an actor. So I'm like really excited that he's back. The hoe is returned.
And you know what we didn't talk about? The fact that we went through all those shows, none of them are the same. He literally is in a different genre and a different type of show every single time.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge too.
I also think, aside from Boys Over Flowers, and I have not seen Legend of the Blue Sea, so I can't speak to that one. But drama-wise, his characters are introverted, kind of. Like, kind of straight introvert characters. But again, all different. It's not as if he was pulling from the same book for all these.
No.
Like, if you're talking about the spectrum of personality, they were kind of all closer to one end. But they're still, like, distinctly different characters. And I'm watching them all back to back, so I can, like, tell you. They're all very, very different. Yeah. And it's really cool to see him do that. Like, he does a really good job.
I did want to mention, because somebody on my timeline just brought it to my attention in the last 2 days, and I was like, ooh, well, that was timely. But music video, but it's like a Cass beer commercial with Dara, or Sandara Park, I believe it is, and for the song Kiss, and he's in that, and like, it's a great video.
Oh, it's her solo song.
Really, really good. It's interesting though, because like it feels like it's a product placement. Like there's a lot.
Well, that's how they paid for the music video, but yeah, it's her solo song. It's an actual. You can go find it right now.
It's very cute. It's a lot of fun. It's a very fun video, and he's got quite the character arc in it. It's really interesting to watch. Like it's a really good one. And apparently, Kim Woo Bin's in. I have to go back and watch it again. Woo Bin is in there a couple of times too, like as like, you know, guy number 3 in the party scene or something. But you know, I couldn't get past Lee Min Ho's whole hair extravaganza enough to like look for other people in there. But it's a great video.
I forgot to mention I Am Your Teacher. So back in 2007, I watched that entire thing for some strange reason because I was doing my Park Min Young research and Top and Lee Min Ho was in it. So like I had to watch it.
An interesting side note, he's really good friends with Jung Il Woo, who's the dude from Cinderella and the Four Knights, Flower Boy Ramen Shop, blah blah blah. And he and Lee Min Ho, Jung Il Woo and Lee Min Ho were in like a really horrific car accident together, and both of them were like severely injured.
Oh yeah, he talked about it in a couple of his interviews because they bring it up because he does so much fighting scenes in his movies, and he just says he basically just like shifts everything to his good leg.
Yeah.
To do the fight scenes.
He's got like pins in his leg and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like his service was not like military.
Yeah, it was like administrative.
It was like,
it was like the same thing that Heechul had to do, like because Heechul was also severely injured in a car accident with most of the members of Super Junior right after their debuts.
And the real sad part was they were going to his father's funeral.
He also has a wax figure. The Down Two Stones in Shanghai.
Even Ho's like pretty popular. I'm sure he's actually gotten some like Hollywood roles thrown his way. But he probably
I actually read about that. So the little interview I did read, but this was several years old at this point. The one that was talking about how he wasn't in variety shows and stuff. It's kind of same thing. He was offered a lot of Hollywood roles, but he didn't feel like he was ready for that yet. And so he didn't cross that bridge. So
I could see because it's not good in there, his English, but it's of someone who is actively trying to learn English, not just for his role. So I could see that like maybe he was preparing a little bit, at least learning some English.
And he also did a documentary about the wilderness and the nature and animals who live in the DMZ. So, and he got to go film in the DMZ. He had special permission from both North and South Korea.
They both love him.
They both love Lee Min Ho.
I mean, just based on all this, just the amount of very popular dramas that he's had, I feel like he's kind of like the patron saint of like K-dramas as far as like, if you think of
like sort of like the expansion, like the international expansion of K-dramas.
Absolutely.
I am going out and saying a very bold statement. Wait for it. My bold statement is this. Without Lee Min-ho, K-dramas would not be popular amongst Westerners as they are.
That's true. I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm. Like, because his shows were the ones that were the first ones that people enjoyed.
Yeah.
And
It really was what, like, made
because
people
his
bring
acting
more
skills proved that, like, oh, you know, like, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see more of that.
But mind you, or sometimes if they're sort of contrary like me, they watch Boys Over Flowers as their first one and they go, they can't all be like this. But then I would go out, because see, the way that I started K-dramas was I would pick my favorite actor in a series and then go find a show that they were also in. So the first two series I watched because they were on Netflix was Boys Over Flowers and Shut Up Flower Boy Band. So then from that I was like, Lee Min-ho, he seems awesome. So then I watched Airs and I was like, no, but I still like him. But I still like him. So then I watched City Hunter and I was like, okay. All right.
I like also just like you start to go, well, how am I gonna just narrow it down? And even if like with Boys Over Flowers, it definitely was. The entire time I was watching this, I was like, oh, this is an anime. This is an anime.
Yeah,
this is an anime.
Basically
like
is,
it's like an anime, like totally 100%. And so it's like, you know, it's fun, and this is my first one, and like Double S 501 boys were in it, so I was into it, like because of that. In the beginning, I went for a lot of Lee Min-ho, even though I dropped it all. But I was like, pick the person you know. Yeah. And Lee Min-ho is it and had the most to pick from, because like you couldn't really go. You know, I did Playful Kiss, but like, you know, like past that you're done with him, and you know.
Yeah.
He was also the first Korean celebrity to perform on the Chinese CCTV Lunar New Year's Gala.
Whoa, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that is actually a big deal. As a singer, because guess what? Lee Min-ho has 2 albums. Do we all know that? He has very much said that these albums are just for fan signs. They're not. He's not going to be a singer.
Air quote.
Yeah, he's a singer.
He didn't start off as his idol. Like, he didn't do that. Straight into modeling and then acting.
And then amusingly, while he doesn't do any variety shows in Korea, he has been on a Chinese variety show.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. With an interpreter, I guess.
Yeah. So that's super fun. I always love reading like these little asides that you find while looking up things. So on this one article it says, in 2012, Lee starred in a historical medical drama, Faith, with Kim Hee-sun. Although the drama garnered viewership ratings in the 10% range, which is really good, it was a commercial flop due to its high budget. So it was really popular, but it made no money. But
it was poor budgeted, but
that's fine.
People liked it.
But that's like really good. That's like really good ratings.
It's good ratings.
You mentioned about him doing that stuff in China, and I was wondering about it, and I remembered that that Bounty Hunters movie was a Chinese movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some more interesting facts about Lee Min-ho. Who wants to hear them?
I've been Googling.
I have Lee Min-ho stickers because you girls gave me Lee Min-ho stickers.
That's true, we did. And that was before you even, like, knew Lee Min-ho that well.
Boys Over Flowers.
Had we watched it then?
Yeah.
Oh, we had.
We had like
Never
just
mind.
had.
We just had finished
and we
it.
really wanted the fabric poster.
Yeah, we wanted to get her a giant like tapestry of Lee Min-ho, but it was out of our budget.
We were in Chicago for Monster X, and we just kept on seeing stuff at the K-pop stores there for Lee Min-ho, and we're like, we need to get her every Lee Min-ho thing ever.
So, in 2014 and 2015, 2 years in a row, he topped an online poll in China to be crowned as the Asian male god.
Oh.
Wow.
And in 2017, he was chosen as the favorite Korean actor by fans of Hallyu in the States.
Oh.
Mhm.
So-
And he's quite a
If you combined his Western impact with his like Chinese impact,
That's impact.
that's a lot.
Mhm.
So he's also he has his own charitable organization. So they do stuff like building wells in third world countries. A lot about like clean water. He donated a bunch of money to UNICEF after the earthquake in Nepal.
He really liked it, but this is the type of stuff that I'm like, oh, I love it now. Like
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
type.
Yeah.
And also his fans, he encourages his fans to do philanthropic things, and so they do. So in his Chinese fans planted a bunch of trees in Mongolia. Mexican fan club donated to cancer research for children.
Aw.
And Taiwanese and Hong Kong fans made large donations to World Vision and UNICEF.
That's cool.
It's really cool. So he's a big into charity. I appreciate a dude who likes a good charitable donation, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What is funny about Korean celebrities and charitable donations though is like it's always very widely like it's always in the news when they
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of awkward because
Well,
I'm
the
not
thing
used
is, it's like Korean celebrities don't make the same amount of money that like Western celebrities do.
Yeah.
They're not like
Mhm.
multimillionaires. Like they do pretty good.
I mean, even Ho is.
Yeah. Well, yes. But
Some
in
of them
general,
are, but
In general.
in general, they don't. But no, yeah, he's doing okay.
He's doing fine.
He's doing okay. He's won a bunch of awards. Now I've moved on to his list of awards.
Oh, I can only imagine if those were the
He
main
actually he won a bunch for Gangnam Blues, which was also Gangnam 1970, the gangster movie where he threatens to cut off a dude's dick.
I did see somewhere that he says he's actually really uncomfortable with cheesy romantic lines, like when he's having to deliver them. Like
Mhm.
he cringes a lot when he does stuff like that. He actually prefers roles like Gangnam Blues. Like
Yeah.
I see that.
it's more manly roles. Like he actually prefers those.
You know what? That's fair.
Getting those rom-coms. Yeah. He would actually. I would love to see him as a villain. Like
Oh, yeah.
He was. I feel like I watched an interview just recently where he said he wanted to be a villain. That's the role he would like take.
he could.
I think he would do it. He'd be good at it. Real good.
maybe he will be in this.
We don't know.
Maybe
We don't
one
know.
of the universe hymns is a horrible.
You never know,
human
yeah.
being.
Listen, we might be getting taken for a delightful ride by him on a white horse. It could all be a false flag.
He could be really morally great. That would actually be really cool if they did that.
Yeah.
I would be into that. Yeah. Anyway, he's
Yeah.
pretty cool. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. We like him.
Mhm.
He's a really good actor, even if, sometimes his shows don't hit what we're into. So anyway, that was our little dive into Lee Min-ho. Stay tuned for next week, because we are going to be doing our reaction to his brand new Netflix show, Eternal Monarch. What they call
King
it?
the Eternal Monarch.
King the Eternal Monarch.
King. Whatever.
What? It's on Netflix. It's got.
We all know what
you'll
it
see,
is
You'll see.
at this
Yeah,
point.
listen. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know that he's back. And if you don't, he's back. He's back. He's back. We're all very
Surprise!
excited.
He's here.
Surprise! He's here. So you want to hear more of our hot takes on actors and K-pop and J-dramas and Thai boys love soap operas and all that? You should go listen to all of our podcasts if this is your first one. And you're wondering where I just stumbled upon this by accident. Where can I go listen to your sultry voices once more? I'll tell you where. You can find us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, and of course, all of our episodes are on our website at certifiednewness.com, where Jesse puts in all of the links to everything we talk about and all the little time codes for all you people who like time codes. And if you love us so much that you're just like, ooh, I don't know what to do with all my love for the Nunas, you can become an official sponsor of this podcast by going to ko-fi.com/certifiednunas and become an official sponsor sponsor of the Certified Nuna Show.
A coffee is just $3, so
$3. $3 makes you an official sponsor of the show. You can get access to behind like the stuff that gets cut out of the episode, some fun little asides, little
I swear
extra
I'm
mini
putting
ones.
stuff up. I swear,
Yes.
I'm doing it.
Yes, we are. So, like, if you want to hear a fun story about how my dad got hoodwinked in a Thai transsexual bar, well, guess what?
You're in luck.
You are in luck because that exists only for our official sponsors over on Coffee, our little coffees over there. So yeah, it's a good time. So we thank you for listening, and we hope that you enjoy this episode, and also you go out and support Lee Min-ho's new project if it suits your fancy. So that'll be on Netflix, already out when this podcast
You're
ends.
listening to this.
Anyway, we hope you have a great week and stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.